In the meantime, it seems we have a sort of replacement for Nisekoi in the rom-com genre in the form of We Never Learn, which is the first of the 6 new jumpstarts that are going to be debuting in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and We Never Learn, I really enjoyed it. It's by the artist who drew the Magical Patissier Kosaki-chan, a spin-off of Nisekoi, Taishi Suisui.
Transition.
Yes. And, like, his artist style is very similar to Komi in that, like, they have very similar, like, character designs, and they're both, like, very full of life. There is some, like, subtle differences in Suisui's works, in terms of, like, there's a little more sharper faces, like, and also somewhat a little more like, the feeling of the characters is a little more three-dimensional in some areas. It's pretty interesting. Like, they're pretty similar, but also a little bit different. But I really like We Never Learn because the basic concept of the series is that the main character, Yuki Taiga, is this really hardworking, like, student who's, like, really hoping to get this big scholarship thing from his school, in order to, get into a great school and support his family because, he's really poor and, like, he wants to help his family, like, have a better life. And he's constantly frustrated by these 2 girls in his class, who excel in subjects way better than him. Ogata, who is a genius at math and physics, and then there's Fumino Furashi, who is a genius at literature, and, like, can just do it. And both of these girls can just do these subjects, like, so naturally and easily that it really frustrates him. But eventually, like, he gets called into and meets with the principal, and he gets the VIP recommendation that he wants on the condition that he tutors, Ogata and Furashi, and tutors them in the subjects they're really bad at, because Ogata and Furashi, even though they're really good at a particular subject, what they really want to do is excel and major in the other strong subject. Ogata wants to go into a liberal arts college, and Furuhashi wants to go into math and sciences college. And the joke about it is, like, they're super bad and they don't understand the other subjects at all. To the point, like, when they are given, like, the same test again, they get an even worse score. They get, like, literally 0 points, which is hilarious. And so the basic concept of the series is that Taiga has to help Furashi and Ogata, learn these subjects well and help them get into their dream professions and dream colleges. And the basic, like, main emotional crux of the first chapter is the idea, like, these girls have had so many people try to tutor them, but eventually they all have kind of given up on them and told them, why don't you do something else? You're not good at this. But the main idea about the chapter is it's okay to fail, but it's okay to keep trying to become good at something you're not good at, and it's okay to really want to do something you're not good at if you keep trying to be better. And so eventually, on reflecting with a lesson he was taught to by his father when he was young that inspired him, Taiga eventually shows Ogata and Furashi that he's with them and, like, he's going to stick with them and he's really going to help them and excel in school and get and achieve their dreams. And that's really emotional because they haven't had someone talk to them like that before. And that emotional connection also, of course, leads way into a romantic attraction or, like, subtle, like, crush that they both have going on. So that forms the premise of the romantic comedy element of the series. So I think, like, the premise of the series is just super strong and super relatable. Like, for me, I definitely was raised in an environment where I worked really hard, had to work really hard in school, like, was expected to achieve great results, and I, like, was always devastated and frustrated and felt like a failure when I wasn't, like, good at something. And, like, didn't always get, like, great words of encouragement or anything. but, like, the message of the series, like, that it's okay that you fail because that means you have great room for improvement, and it's only by struggling that you can get good at something, and it's in struggling that will give you the greatest satisfaction that will happen when you achieve your dreams. Like, that's a very inspiring and very important message for young readers. And Maxie Bernard, as you know, we've had him as a guest on the show like several times in the last 2 months. Like, he wrote an amazing piece on this aspect of We Never Learn's first chapter that I'm going to link in the show notes. I highly recommend you check it out because he articulates it in a way better way than I can, like, just talking off the top of my head. But basically, I am really endeared and enamored with the series. Like, I love the central concept and conceit. Like, the character designs are great. I was immediately, like, sold on the main two girls. Like, they have great character designs and they're instantly endearing. The comedy is all really great. And there are a few tropey things, but they're just different enough that it feels a little fresh. So I just really, really enjoy it. About the only questionable thing was, like, the very tacked on fan servicey pages at the end of the first chapter, which to me felt like kind of like an editorial thing. Like, oh, you need some fan service in here. And there wasn't any of that in the second chapter, so I'm not expecting that to be a problem in the series. But yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah, it's like that first chapter could have ended on that page where the two of them, you could tell they're starting to develop some kind of crush on the main character, and then this was brought to the editorial staff, and they're like, yes, this is great. I think teenagers will really like this. I think this has a great positive message. But could you add 2 pages where the girls are naked? It's about the only thing that's missing. Okay, thanks, bye.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it felt like. So I did kind of sigh at that a little bit, but that's about really the only real, actual, I guess, negative criticism I have of the first chapter. I'll be honest, when I first read this, I wasn't super into it, because, like, you know, I wasn't into it, but it wasn't because I thought it was bad. It was because, you know, I'm sure we're never going to shut up about Maxie while we're talking about these jump starts, because, quite honestly, his article about the first chapter of We Never Learn did kind of help me realize why I'm not into We Never Learn as a series, and why, if this doesn't get picked up for the Viz Jump, I'm probably not going to seek it out. But even if it did get picked up, I'd probably read it for a little bit, and I'd probably drop it at some point, because I could see myself getting kind of bored reading this weekly, at least. But, you know, something that Maxie talks about in his article, you know, not to talk about it too much, because I do want people to read it too, because I think, like Sid said, he really articulates why this series works, especially considering the demographic that Weekly Shonen Jump usually gears itself towards to. The reason why I'm not as into We Never Learn is just simply because it's not for me. Like, it just doesn't cater to me personally. Like, and I think I kind of talked about this a little bit on Twitter too. Like, I think I had a very different, I guess, academic
mindset.
What's the word? Mindset. Yeah, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. When I was younger, you know, I never really took school as seriously. You know, I mean, I graduated high school, so I did something right. But, you know, generally, like, I did about what was required, and then I was never really, like, an overachiever, quote unquote. I just kind of did what was required of me, and that was it. And most of the time, especially when I was in high school, I would just, you know, whenever I got the chance, I would totally just, like, I was the kind of kid where, like, you know, once I got my work done, I would just spend whatever time I had left, you know, in class, just doing whatever, maybe taking a nap, maybe reading whatever I could from our library or whatnot, you know, just kind of doing whatever. So, like, I was never a studious kind of person. Like, I never took academics too super seriously, so I feel like a lot of We Never Learn is a little lost on me in that sense. but I do want to say that I do respect it for its messages and what it is trying to convey. I think a series like this, the more I think about it and the more I talk to Maxie about it, I do agree with him that this could possibly be a very important series for the target readership of Weekly Shonen Jump. Like, I think this is the kind of series that a lot of teenagers, especially teenagers who are either in the middle of trying to get accepted into high school or are just, finishing up high school and aren't very sure of what they want to do afterwards. I think this could really speak to that audience, if it plays out very well, or well enough, I should say. So I definitely respect what it's doing. I don't want people to think I don't. But with that being said, me personally, I don't know if I like it. This is just a personal thing. Like, from the environment I grew up in and just how seriously I took school, it's not really the kind of story that I could get invested in. But I could totally see why, someone like Sid would to totally get invested in. And I don't know. I think that's a fair viewpoint. I don't know about you, Sid.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't like empathize with the emotions because you haven't experienced them, that's like totally fair.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not that I don't emphasize, because I do. I just don't.
Well, you don't relate to the experiences because that's not the mindset, or that's not like the kind of feelings those aren't like relatable to feelings you've experienced, like to viewpoint you have about like trying hard and like to experience of like failing at something you really want to do. So
it probably doesn't help that like I'm not a very super ambitious person.
Yeah, so
I'm definitely the kind of person that just kind of goes day by day and just kind of lives life doing whatever. Because, I'm such a free spirit like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I do really respect what it's trying to go for, and I'm hoping it'll succeed, but I could also see this being the kind of thing that is going to get canceled in 13 chapters.
I hope not.
I hope not either, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like, it has, like, a core team behind it, so that could really help it. Compared to other things, that don't last as long because the main team isn't, like, completely visible at the start. Like, Love Rush had a great thematic exploration of, like, how different people, like, internalize, like, what love is and, like, how to approach love. But that wasn't, like, obviously apparent from the first chapter. That's like something you kind of realize like as you read it, like, oh, this is what this is trying to do. Like the theme of We Never Learn is you understand it like right in that first chapter and you can get behind it. So I think at least that it has that advantage. So provided that there's a market for a series that is this more low-key, like, slice of life rom-com that isn't, like, too much about, like, the fan service and shipping, the fan servicey element, like, Yuna Viragi manner, then it could find its niche and it could succeed. So I'm hoping that happens, because it has so much potential.
Oh yeah, this has a lot of potential, and I do hope for good things for it.